welcome back to another interview brought to you by Oak Mountain Media. My name is Tyler Raley. Joining me today are two men who probably need absolutely no introduction. They are not only great sources of energy and passion on the basketball court, but they are also great examples of leadership and mentorship inside the classrooms here at Oak Mountain High School. Joining me today are the two of the three assistant coaches on the Oak Mountain High School basketball team, your 2021 state champions. I'm joined today by Coach Donald McMahon and Coach Kent Jackson.
Hi,
Coaches, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, great to be here.
So I want to kind of start because not a lot of people know a ton about y'all as much as Coach Love, because y'all are more behind the scenes. So let's take it back a little bit to start. And Coach D, I'll start with you. What got you into basketball? How did you develop your passion, and what got you to where you are today?
I always liked basketball as a sport I preferred to play growing up. I played here. After I graduated, I started getting involved coaching at the middle school level, and I really enjoyed it. So I made the decision in college that, I was either going to go accounting or I was going to do coaching. I said, I'm going to do what I love. So I decided to give coaching a shot, and it's just ironic that it's ended up here. Basketball's always been a big part of my life, big part of my family's life. So that's kind of the passion element.
So you always knew you wanted to be a part of basketball one way or another?
I have been for my whole life, so not being a part, I think I would have had regret. So yes,
okay.
Yes.
Coach Jackson, what about you?
Sort of the same in terms of when I was young. I was a player. I was kind of undersized, and made up for that lack of size with a lot of competitiveness and handsomeness. And then I kind of got away from basketball after high school. I wasn't good enough to go play in college. So like everybody, I was coaching when I would watch it on television. You know what I mean? Thought I could do it. But it's way different than that. And so anyway, I noticed that a lot of my free time I was coaching like youth league teams and stuff. And so I really enjoyed it. And got lucky enough to land here with Coach Love eventually.
So I assume did you both have idols growing up as far as NBA players go, as who you wanted to model your game after?
I think I can speak for both of us. It's Jordan, right?
Yeah.
The GOAT, yeah.
You watch Jordan,
No
you want to
question.
be him.
No argument?
No, I vividly remember watching his games, yes. Yeah.
But,
he was a major influence.
So I
yes.
assume the Last Dance documentary was probably...
It was on, yeah, we binge watched it, yes, for sure.
I know my brother watched it 2 or 3 times already, and it was better every time for him. So since y'all been at the Oak Mountain program, what has been y'all's favorite part? Just to be a part of this program, what's the best part y'all have experienced?
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
I think that the favorite part for me is by far the fact that we're a family. I've known Coach Love since I was a player in 1999, 14 years old. And to get to do it with him and with my brother, and then the addition of Coach Jackson, I don't know that I'd want to do it with anybody else. So we're a very tight-knit coaching group. We have a lot of fun together. We philosophically feel the same way about the game. So, to me, the most enjoyment I get is the time that I get to spend with the coaches, and that, we really are. We're a family, our staff. And then that aside, I have a tremendous amount of pride in the program. I've invested a lot of time as a player and then a lot of my adult life into this program. So I have a tremendous amount of pride in the program. So you'd have to throw what we did with the state championship up on that list too.
Yeah.
That's very satisfying, and you can't take that away. So that's also probably one of the highlights or better moments from it.
My favorite part of being in the program is it's the relationships. I know that's kind of the same thing as Coach is saying, but like you watch these players, and I get them when they're freshmen. I coach the freshman team, and watch them grow up. Like Zane, who graduated last year, Zane Nelson. I got lucky enough to coach him as a 7th grader, an 8th grader, and a 9th grader, and then help with him as a varsity player. And so it's just always special to watch these guys grow up. And then, yeah, like the locker room atmosphere, the coaching office is like an extension of that. But, you know, I remember being young and Magic Johnson retired, and they asked him what you're going to miss, and he's like, he's played in front of thousands and thousands of people all over the world. He's played it better than anybody has ever played, and he says he's going to miss the locker room the most. And that's kind of how I feel about our program. Like, whatever level you play, there's something special about that. And Oak Mountain's got just a great group of personalities and relationships, and it's been a lot of fun to kind of be around it.
No.
Now, we talk about atmosphere a little bit. Obviously, the community and the student section has been behind y'all, and you look up into the end zones of every game and see just a sea of red or a sea of white. What has it meant to y'all to have such a fan base support at every single game, especially these playoff games?
It's amazing, and I feel that it's a huge advantage to this program. And this program has always had a good fan following, and to have the fans be able to experience, you know, whether it's Jacksonville State or Wallace State or a Final Four, and then to have our players experience those moments with a huge fan base. I mean, it's fantastic. Can't thank our fans enough. They're diehard. I mean, we have a savage fan base, and it looks like a lot of fun to play in, and it makes it fun to coach in those environments. So, I mean, our fans are the best.
Yeah, I totally agree. I actually coached against Oak Mountain back in 2010, and I remember thinking how incredible the student following was, and then coming here, and like Coach said, it's special for the players to have all that support behind them when they do something. I mean, there's a few times, you know, we're trying to hold it together on the bench during these big playoff games, and I look up and see all these students, and you know, it'll get you, man. It's really great.
Did we beat y'all when y'all played us?
I know.
Y'all won?
Yeah.
You know we won. I mean, just like the way you sang
it.
So let's move a little bit more individualized questions now, and Coach Jackson, I'll start with you. You've always been known as someone, both in the classroom and on the court, you brought a ton of energy and passion day in and day out to the kids. What does it mean for you to see these kids and players reflect that energy at practice, at the games, and in their personal lives?
Oh, I mean, it's just great. You just feed off of it. I mean, I think you get into coaching because you're a competitive person. And I remember in one of our games, it was either the Final Four game with Auburn or the championship game with Enterprise, like telling our huddle of players, you know, they don't want to fight with you guys. I mean, who wants to fight with Evan Smith over a loose ball? You know what I mean? Like, so that energy that they had is just kind of, it was like two mirrors at each other. It just kept feeding off each other. I was really proud of the spirit of the players. It was just really fun to just be around it.
Now, so we talk about the big runs and that this team has made, and especially last year they made it to the Final Four and lost in the semifinals, and now they've won the championship. When did you realize, at what point in the season did you start to figure out that this team could really make a run back to Birmingham?
I mean, you look at that roster of players, and I mean, it wasn't necessarily during this season, and you say at the end of last season, we have the character and competitiveness to do this if we click, if we buy in. And that's something that, you know, it won't be easy. And there will be times when you're trying to find what your role is going to be with this team. And I feel like, you know, so to answer your question, it was before the season did I think we could do it. And the night that I remember really thinking things had found their place was on the road at Thompson. We were 0-2 in area, and Thompson shot the ball incredibly. They made everything. And our kids just calmly beat them by 10. You know what I mean? They were just better than them that night. And it was nice to watch them kind of find their roles, buy in on the defensive end, and then kind of do what Coach was asking them. So
that passion has just grown over the course of the season. And obviously y'all had some tough stretches, and y'all played so many tough opponents. I mean, examples: Sparkman, Ramsey, Huffman, just out of that set outside of 7A. How did those kids overcome what happened, and how did they overcome, you know, the toughness they had to play through day in, night out?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got to give the kids a ton of credit. They're a special group. You could go down the list of all 14 guys, and it's rare that you have a squad this deep that they bring a competitive spirit to them. They've already handled adversity previous to ever getting to us. They're just a special group of kids. The other thing I think that has to be mentioned is our bench. We didn't have a deep rotation. You never saw in practice those guys that weren't maybe getting the minutes that they wanted hang their head. They showed determination. They showed toughness. They kept coming to practice, kept competing. And what I think is special about that is every one of those kids was ready for when their numbers called, they were ready to play. And that showed itself at the highest stage in the state championship game. Yeah. Brady goes down with a horrible knee injury. Matthew Heiberger, a sophomore who played limited minutes this year, he came in and was ready. And Ryan Giegel, I don't know that Ryan had played maybe in the previous 4 games leading up to that, but when we needed Ryan, Ryan was ready. And I think Ryan played 5 minutes and had 5 rebounds. I mean, that's a credit to the kids and the culture that they develop in practice. And the funny thing about it, you pick anyone else of those guys sitting on the bench, I promise you they would have been ready too. So they create a special culture, and I'm thankful to have just been a part of it and played a small part in this group, because they're just a special group of kids. They are.
Now, you talk about Brady's injury, and obviously that was a key moment, what seemed like a turning point in the game already early on. But also throughout the season, y'all faced many injury problems, and outside of that, it was at the very beginning of the season, the football players weren't there. What toughness did it, and what did it say, the volumes that it spoke about how these kids persevered and managed to pull out their best game each game?
Again, the best way I can describe it is we were a family this year, and there were moments where, you know, whether it's injuries, whether it was COVID, whether it was we weren't playing well, it wasn't all lovey-dovey between everybody. But families do that. Families get upset with each other. Families go through struggles, and what we didn't do was we didn't quit on each other. The goal was always to improve and get better, and you have to go through that adversity. I mean, that's just part of it. You have to experience some failure to then grow and become better. And I remember after a lot of our losses, just as a coaching staff, the only thought was, what do we have to do better? And then the players embraced that. I remember losing at Tuscaloosa County on the road area game. Horrible loss. Felt terrible. And I remember in the locker room after that game, I felt a sense of calm, and we told the kids exactly what we needed to do to turn this around, and everyone had eyes locked. There was no hanging of the head, and that was a pretty bad, that was not a good look for us at that moment. 0-2 in the area, backs against the wall. But I'm telling you, the kids in the locker room, they just believe. And it was those moments, I think, the adversity that allowed us to, you know, when it got bad in the final, at the state championship, nobody blinked. Nobody blinked. So, I mean, we're a family, ups, downs, and it's just so special that it ended this way, for staff, for community, and for players. I mean, just fantastic.
We talk about how special it was. We were talking before the interview. I know you played for Coach Love when you were in high school, and now you're coaching with them, and you get to see these kids grow and develop every single day. When the buzzer sounded and y'all had claimed the blue mat, what did it mean to you, and how special was it to have played for Coach Love and now you're winning a state title with him?
It was a wave of emotion, and obviously just excited at that point. But I've really had two different emotions. Number one, the emotions as a coach. You're obviously, you know, very happy for your team, very happy for the players. You feel a sense of accomplishment. The other perspective I have from just being a member of this community and being a part of the basketball program for so long, I just felt a lot of pride. There's so many. I texted Evan the other day and said, Evan, I'm so glad our worlds collided. And, you know, because I can't tell you how many former people that those players don't even know. They still feel ownership in the program, and they reach out and they're like, man, that is awesome. I'm so happy with the program. And then you've got the new school kind of with, obviously they're happy as well. So it was a sense of pride, and that the basketball team was able to kind of have a little bit to do with uniting the community. It's special. So pride, and then just happy for the players, really.
Yeah, there's like a personal happiness because you get to be on the winning side, but I remember vividly feeling such happiness for that group of players.
Yes.
And on top of that, for Coach McMahon and Coach Love, who just worked so hard. And I mean, Coach Love's been at it for a long time, and he's coached a lot of great, teams with a lot of great chemistry. But he's a guy you root for, and I was rooting real hard for him that day. I was really happy that he got it.
And I'm sorry, but the other part, I mean, Coach Love has been a huge mentor to me, and Coach Love's had my back more than probably anybody, and he's just a genuine guy, and I can't thank him enough. He's the best, and I love him a lot, and he's meant a lot to me. So to be able to help him, I mean, I'd do it as long as he wants to do it. So he's a special guy to us.
And then one final question collectively for the both of y'all. Answer how you will. What does it mean for these players, not only these players, more importantly these seniors, to go out on top, and some of them ending their basketball careers, others going on to better heights in college? What does it mean? What's the significance for them?
I mean, you can't take away what they did. They are forever a state champion, and they're the senior group that brought it. Oak Mountain's had a ton of good basketball teams over the years, and none of those senior classes accomplished what they did. So, I mean, I'm just happy for them and feel, proud of them, and they'll never forget these moments. And they're the senior class that had the leadership, and not all of them even played that much, which is even more remarkable. I mean, they continued to lead, continued to have a good attitude. So, I'm just happy and proud of them.
Yeah, for that group, right? There's a lot of teams made special runs here before, but each one of those runs ended with a loss and a sad locker room, at least for that moment. And these guys didn't have that sad locker room. It was a pretty happy locker room.
Yeah, it was a very happy locker room.
And so they didn't end on a loss, and that's not many teams get to say that. And that senior group, man, they're a special group. Really, really proud of those guys.
Well, coaches, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to sit down with me and chat. And congratulations again on winning the state title.
Thanks, man, and thanks for y'all doing this. My dad and other extended family out of town, they get to watch a lot of games because of you guys, so we really appreciate what y'all did, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for everything y'all did.
Thank you very much. We've enjoyed it so much. And those were the assistant coaches of the Oak Mountain High School basketball team. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at OakMTM Media on Instagram and Twitter, and Oak Mountain Media on Facebook and YouTube to check out all the great content by the rest of our team at Oak Mountain Media. And for Oak Mountain Media, I'm Tyler Raley. Have a great day, everyone.